Yes! That's me, winning the last match I needed in order to get the Ice Climbers into Elite Smash. The journey to the summit may have looked easy, but it was harder than you think. The Ice Climbers have so much jank to them, and I'm here to tell you why the Ice Climbers are nearly impossible to learn. For starters, let's take a look at the Ice Climbers, shall we? They consisted of two separate fighters working together. You take control of one of the Ice Climbers, while a computer takes control of the other. Nana is the one that ends up getting controlled by the computer most of the time. That leaves you with Popo, the brains of this operation. Whatever attacks you input, Popo will do them and Nana will follow. With twice the power, you might be wondering to yourself, how could these characters be hard? The Ice Climbers have a special mechanic that no other character in the game has: desyncing. What even is desyncing, you might ask? Well, desyncing is a mechanic that happens when the Ice Climbers drift too far apart and won't be synced back together unless one of them is close enough. That's the easiest way to separate the Icy fellows. Desyncing the Ice Climbers can be done on purpose, but it's not easy to do. With this in mind, there are two different ways you can desync the Ice Climbers. A combo-based desync is when you separate the Ice Climbers by means of a combo. You can do this by doing a dash back, spot dodge, or roll into a grab. From that point, once Popo is about to release the opponent from a throw, the Ice Climbers should now be desynced. You can now buffer inputs as Nana, such as side B, down B, and others. This combo I'm about to show you took me 2 hours to do in training mode, and now I'm going to show you how to do it. First of all, we're going to desync the Ice Climbers using any of the options I said in the beginning. I prefer the dashback strat, so that's what I'm going to be using. Once you have them desynced, buffer side B from Nana. Now have Popo use up tilt. From that point, you could use up air to juggle your opponent to a pretty high percent. Timing is very precise when it comes to this method, as you only have a few frame window to desync them. You'll know if you don't desync them if both the Ice Climbers roll for side B at the same time. If that combo sounded hard, this is just a beginner desync combo, and one of the reasons you don't hear about high level Ice Climbers. The other form of desyncing is by getting hit. If I get hit by an attack, there's a chance that Nana will desync because Nana is lighter than Popo, so she takes more knockback from attacks. It's important that you keep Nana near Popo at all times, because if not, the game gets much harder from there. Because Nana is much lighter and has a smaller shield compared to Popo, she ends up dying a lot. You don't lose a stock because you're still controlling Popo, but this isn't the same Popo as before. This is Sopo, or Solo Popo, a nickname for the event that Popo cannot fight with Nana. Now that Nana's gone, Popo downgrades to the worst character in the game. His attacks barely do damage, and his do recovery is the worst in the game. You can't even get any vertical height with that! With these significant nerfs, it'll only be a matter of time before Popo gets chucked off the mountain to reunite with Nana. The Ice Climbers moveset is okay, but there's one move I want to talk about that pretty much does nothing. Ice Shot. The Ice Climbers neutral B has them fire off two chunks of ice, one if Nana is dead, at the opponent. What's so significant about these frozen hunks of junk? They have a tiny bit of hit stun, and they can freeze opponents for 1 second at high percentages. Other than that, they barely do any damage, they can be reflected by reflectors, and they're so weak that even a shield can send them back in the opposite direction. This is easily the Ice Climbers' worst move. After some solo training, I decided to use what I learned in a real match, so I hit up one of my friends on Discord. I told him my situation, and he helped me practice against this Falcon. What I ended up getting out of it was more jank than I had ever expected. So much, in fact, that I think I'll let him tell his side of the story.
I want to start off by saying that I personally do not like Ice Climbers. Not as a character, but just as a character you have to fight. Like, if people are fighting me with Ice Climbers, I am going to have no fun, and you are going to get no sympathy from me, I can assure you. Because the online Ice Climbers meta is just so dumb. But I will say, if you have mastered the desyncs with Ice Climbers, and you are the type to set up desync combos and pull them off, I have mad respect for you. I will not be upset if you set up a spicy desync combo and kill me with it. I'll be happy with that. Now, I'm going to get straight to the point here. Ice Climbers is not good to play for your mental health. Ice Climbers as a whole is just so dysfunctional. Like, how are you supposed to be able to play a character that's so reliant on a gimmick that doesn't even work half the time? Oh, and don't even get me started about the fact that the character is effectively you fighting 2-on-1. And if your friend, if Nana or Popo die, you lose. You just lose. You literally can't recover. You can't do damage. You lose everything as soon as Nana dies. And that's not very hard to make that happen. You run into a Kirby, a DDD, or a K. Rool, Nana's going off the stage. I can assure you that much.
Thanks so much, man. As you could probably tell, having your friends suffer the misery that is Ice Climbers is very unwise. So please don't do this to your friends, or you won't have any. If you really want to learn Ice Climbers, well, don't let me stop you, but instead let me tell you that you should expect a lot of work if you want to learn them at a high level. For everyone else though, I'd recommend staying away from the nightmare that is the Ice Climbers. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel on your way out.